In this video, we're going to talk about how to get started on planting a throw and grow food plot, how much seed you should plant per acre approximately, and where you should put your food plots. Now, one big thing to remember is there's no mistakes when making food plots because you'll learn from it. This will be my 5th year to do food plots. And the reason I want to do this video is when I first started, it was like people that were planting food plots over here. It was, 15, 20 acres. They had tractors, they had all this amazing stuff. And it just wasn't realistic for me to go out and buy a tractor and try to do all that on a property that I lease. I don't want to buy all that equipment and then the landowner decides to sell. I just wanted something that I could put down, have some green growth that the deer would be attracted to, and just be successful with it. So throughout the years, I've really learned this is kind of the bro science version of food plots. So let's get started. Everything that you need is right here in front of me. You need some seed, a spreader, some glyphosate, a backpack sprayer, and a super cheap lawnmower. This is the second cheapest lawnmower that I could find at Lowe's. Now, where you want to put your food plots, that's pretty important. I've learned this over trial and error. A few years ago, my brother and I came out here and we planted a really large food plot, and I thought that would attract more deer, and it didn't necessarily do that versus years in the past where I had smaller little isolated food plots. So the placement of the food plots is really important. I actually learned this by watching a guy, I can't remember his name, but he's on YouTube and he hunts a lot out of the UP of Michigan. And he's got some great videos out there that are very, very informative. But he talks about you don't want to be really close to deer bedding areas, because if you have a food plot really close to a nice bedding area, you'll have a lot of doe activity and you'll actually push the bigger bucks off, which is interesting because the year I had the really nice food plot, I actually did not shoot a nice buck that year. So what I did the next year when I did shoot a nice buck is I make a 1/4 acre food plot here, a 1/4 acre food plot over here, and then I might go 100-ish yards over behind me here and I make another 1/4 acre food plot. Now for the seed amount, for me, I really overseed because, it's on top and there's the opportunity for birds and different critters to eat the seed. So I do about 200 pounds per acre, or for me, it comes out to 50 pounds per 1/4 acre food plot. So as I talked about, I have a 1/4 acre here, and over there. So I do a bag per 1/4 acre, and that seems to work really, really well for me. The next thing is when you're looking at how much food or how much seed per acre, you need to understand that a lot of times that's farmers that are looking to harvest it. I don't want to harvest this. I want it for grazing purposes, so I'm going to overseed it. The next thing is what seed you should use. Now, I'm in West Texas area, close to Abilene, and I have found that wheat and oats grow really well out here, even with moderately poor soil. I don't do anything else except for put down a little triple 13 or maybe a triple 10. I have tested the soil. It needs a lime. Everything grows well though, so I'm not going to pay to have tons of lime brought in to plant on these food plots. You could also probably do a winter rye. Make sure it is a cereal rye, not a ryegrass. You definitely do not want ryegrass in your food plot. And then, as I said, I would try to overseed. What works for me is about a 50-pound bag per 1/4 acre. The next thing that you need to think about too is when are you going to be hunting it and when are you going to be planting it. If you want to put oats down, you probably should layer that with some wheat because those oats are going to die after the first or second frost. So if you've got the moisture, not a bad idea to go in mid-September and maybe put, a little bit of wheat down and then put a little oats down, and then you can add more you can add more wheat as the winter progresses. It's not going to scare the deer in if you walk in and throw some more wheat out, because that's going to grow into those cooler times, especially in November and December here, because it does get pretty cold. Another thing that I've learned is don't buy mixed seeds. That's the worst thing you can do. Pre-mixed seeds, they look pretty, they sound cool, but they don't grow worth crap, especially if you buy something that has some sort of rape or turnip or purple top turnips, things like that, mixed in with wheat. That's a horrible idea, because you need to plant, let's say a purple top turnip needs approximately 60-day grow time before you get that first frost. So if you have the moisture, it's not a bad idea to do a purple top turnip maybe mid-August, and then you're going to plant your wheat or oat towards the middle to end of September. So just that's kind of stuff that I've learned over time. pick your food plot location. Try to stay away from bedding areas. You know, you don't want to scare those deer away. Stagger your food plots. Don't overcomplicate it. Make it pretty simple. You know, a month before you're going to plant, come out and spray the glyphosate. Come out, spread your seed a month or so later. If you are going to do a purple top turnip or something of that nature, you need to make sure you're going to give it about 60-day grow time before you can anticipate that first freeze, because that will usually stunt the growth on those a little bit, I've found. So after you spread the seed down, you're going to go through with your mower, you're going to mow it, and if you need to, you can apply another thin layer of glyphosate down as well. So that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions, post in the comment.